Suppose your car is at rest and you want to start your car, but it is not starting. What do? You go and push your car. Now, this initial push takes a lot of effort. To start the car, you have to give a lot of effort to push. Now, this is because there is some frictional force acting between the tires and this floor that is not letting the car to change its position from rest to motion. Now, there is a special name of this friction that is called a static friction. Now, this is the friction that holds an object in its place and it prevents to change state of rest of any object. This initial friction is called static friction. Now, you will notice that once you start sliding the car, this friction lessens. What happens? You are applying force in this direction, and we know that the force of friction always acts in the opposite direction. So frictional force is acting in the opposite direction. It is not letting the car to move. So we can say that no actual movement of the object happens in static friction when the car is at rest. Now, you have noticed that once the car starts, it is very easy to again slide the car or drive it. So we can say that static friction ends with the beginning of the sliding of the car. So the initial friction that is present, that takes a lot of effort to start the car, is called static friction. Once the car starts sliding, this static friction is over. So is there no friction when the car starts sliding? No, there is. When the car starts, there is some friction due to which we can actually apply brakes and stop the car. Well, this friction is called sliding friction. As the name suggests, when the car starts sliding, from then sliding friction takes place when an object slides over another. Here this object is the car and it is sliding over the road. So this friction that takes place here is called sliding friction. Let's try to understand static and sliding friction with an example. Suppose there is a wooden block on the table. A feeble force may not set the wooden block into motion. As you increase the force gradually, the wooden block starts moving. The limiting value of the force at which the metal block starts moving is equal to the resistive force offered by the metal block that was under static condition. Hence, that resistive force is called static friction. Now, continuing the experiment further, we increase the force beyond the static frictional force that made the wooden block move. But even after the wooden block started moving, it still offers a little resistive force trying to resist the motion. Well, that is defined as a sliding friction. Now, you already know that every surface has irregularities. So, over here you can see that the box has irregularities and the surface also has irregularities. So, when the box starts sliding, the contact points on its surface, they do not get enough time to lock into the contact points of the floor. So, the sliding friction is slightly smaller than that the static friction. So, we find somewhat easier to move the wooden blocks already in motion than to get it started. So, the initial friction is the static friction, which requires a lot of effort, and the sliding friction that comes after the static friction requires comparatively less effort. So, what did we study? We studied that sliding friction is less than static friction, that initial friction is more than the secondary friction. Now, don't you find skating easier than sliding your feet on the ground? Well, these rollers actually, they also have some friction. Now, the friction that these rollers create with the ground is actually less than the friction our feet will create with the surface of the ground when they rub against each other. Now, what is that friction that is created when rollers rub against the ground? Well, that is called rolling friction. As the name suggests, it is a resistive force which slows down a body. What is this resistive force? Resistive means that stops an object. So this force actually opposes the motion. So it is called resistive force which slows down a body which rolls on a surface, such as a ball, wheel, etc. That anything that is in a circular shape, when it rolls on the ground, the friction that is created or the friction that acts on it is called rolling friction. Now you have noticed that rolling friction is actually less than the sliding friction. Now if you try sliding your feet on the ground, it will cause you difficulty, but then if you start skating, it will be easier than sliding your feet on the ground. So now if you go by this equation, we knew that static friction is the initial friction that requires a lot of effort. Now sliding friction, that is the secondary friction that acts after the static friction, is comparatively lesser than that of the static friction, and the rolling friction is the least. Look through this closely. Here the initial friction is the static friction, which is requiring this man to put a lot of effort to slide it. Now once he starts sliding, static friction ends and sliding friction comes into motion. Now here he has started rolling it. Now rolling is easier for him because rolling friction is the least amongst the three.